As we eagerly wait for more news and details to emerge from the Steve Lawson affair that was going on for 5 or more years, it's causing a lot of people to have speculations and start assuming things. And John Root recently had this to say about the situation. Can someone explain to me why we still don't know the details about Steve Lawson's adultery? The more the elders Lawson wait to provide details, the more rumors are going to spread, the more people are going to question the motive behind the lack of transparency of his church, ministry, himself, and those closest to him. How in the world do the members of Trinity Bible, his former church, not have answers? Now, clearly, this is an honest question to be asking people. Why are the details seemingly so slow to come out? Why do they seem to be hidden? John also says this: details don't need to be shared for drama's sake. His church and the body of church deserve to know more than surface level details. Reformed community, you know, if Joel Osteen, Mike Todd, Bill Johnson, or Craig Groeschel were in Lawson's situation, we would be spending all day, every day, asking for transparency and clear answers. I applaud Trinity for removing him promptly, as well as Grace to You, Grace Community, G3, and other ministries/ministers that have acted quickly to condemn Lawson's actions and remove him from conferences and other ministry material, resources, etc. But there is no reason the details should still be hidden. Now, I do agree with John here in saying we do need to have more answers. We need to know more details about this situation. Now, here's what we do know. This relationship was going on for 5 or more years. This relationship was also Steve Lawson, I believe he's in his 70s, and this female was in her mid to late 20s during this time. The other details we know is he, in fact, did fly her out on multiple occasions to see her. And she was a member of Grace Community Church's college. Now, she wasn't, there's details with that. Now, she wasn't attending to be like a pastor, but she still can attend the school and get a degree from that school. And she apparently was a student of that school. So as we wait patiently for these details, we are also getting flooded with concerning sermons and messages like this that have come up recently from Steve Lawson.
The dean of the doctoral program, which means I'm over the whole doctoral program, and I bring in other professors and I cherry pick, hand pick the best of the best of the best men to come in and lecture from around the United States and even overseas. I've got Sinclair Ferguson coming in, for example, in January. And I had a professor coming in who is kind of a rock star in many guys' eyes to lecture on how to preach. And just days before the class was to start, I got an email from the elders of his church where he's the lead pastor, saying that he has disqualified himself for sexual immorality. I mean, this man is very well known. And so I decided I was going to address our Doctor of Ministry students. I had in there, let's just say, 80 students. And I just sat down with a blank piece of paper and I made a list of what sexual immorality will do to your life and do to your ministry. And I came up with a list, I think it was like 26 things sexual immorality will do to destroy your life and destroy your ministry and destroy your family. And I took 2 hours without a break to go through that list. And I intentionally wanted to sober the men. You are the fool of all fools. For 15 seconds, of gratification to now you're no longer a pastor. And now you have a job at the drugstore. Now you're out on the streets. And now you have a paper route. What a fool you were to sacrifice an entire life of ministry for 20 seconds of sin.
John is in prison because he would not bend the truth. And by this use of sarcasm and what we could call satire, Jesus is affirming the ministry of John the Baptist. And you should not judge a man by his 1 weak moment. You need to look at the whole body of his work. You need to look at his whole message. You need to look at his whole ministry. And don't judge him on one hiccup.
Now, this is going to rub people the wrong way, including myself. I mean, we see the hypocrisy here with Steve Lawson in this first clip where he calls out this man who was supposedly a kind of rock star in the world of ministry who fell into adultery, who fell into sexual sin with a person who was not their spouse. And they were removed, and Steve Lawson was talking about that. While under the same breath, behind closed doors, Steve Lawson is having a relationship with a 20-year-old female. That's very Pharisee-like. That is very hypocritical. And so with that, the next clip that you saw, people are speculating and saying, was Steve Lawson talking about himself, saying, do not fault a man for his one mistake? Guys, this is not just a minor mistake. This is a continuous act that went on for 5+ years. We need to be praying that the truth would be revealed, that the details would emerge, because people need to know the truth. And John Root is right. If this were somebody outside of the Reformed camp, which I am a part of the Reformed camp, man, that camp, the Reformed people would be after this daily, attacking and going after this daily, searching for the truth, just like they did with Carl Lenz and Brian Houston. We need to have that same level of hunger to find the truth out with somebody even in our own camp, like Steve Lawson.